When you begin to think in this global space, then you begin to understand that sometimes we limit ourselves, not because the world limits us, but simply because the environments in which we are growing on are totally limited. And because of the limited environment, we become like a small little potted plant that is caged in a small little vase. And because the vase is so small, the roots of this tree can only grow to the capacity of the vase. Therefore, you cannot look at a tree that is in a vase and then say, this is the maximum potential of this tree. And as you are looking at this tree, you can actually see that it is not a small little shrub. If you should take this tree and put it on real soil on the ground, this tree will shock you. It will grow to full capacity. Therefore, the thinking of the African must not become caged into some small little white colonial mindset which says you can only think about this. You can't think beyond this, because anything outside of this, it is devilish, it is demonic, it is evil. Therefore, thinking has been isolated as actually as an evil mindset. Because apparently when you are a Christian, you must become docile, you must become submissive, and you must become all-accepting, and you must never question. And the fact that you have read the Bible in the past means that you must suspend your thinking and only become a carrier of whatever has been taught to you. But I want to challenge you that your mind was never built to be caged by anybody else. Your mind was never built to be occupied and contained in such small little vases of human perception. You were created unlimited. You were created beyond your own comparison. And you'll be shocked to discover that the day you break this vase of your limited thinking and you plant your mind onto the indigenous ground that you are afraid of, your African ground. By that I mean to say that your thinking must be African, your fashion must be African, medicine must be African, your education must be African, your religion must be African, your worldview must be African, your architecture must be African, your technologies must be African, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about it. The Chinese are coming around here showing us and teaching us how to eat dogs and stuff like that, because that's where they're coming from. And they're not embarrassed. A Chinaman, if you ask him, do you eat a dog? A Chinaman will look you in the eye and say, a British dog and a Chinese dog, they all taste the same. Because to them, it's not a shame to eat a dog. It's not a shame to eat a donkey. It's not a shame to eat crickets. It's not a shame to eat worms. It's not a shame to eat even human body parts, so to speak. Because their culture, within their own space, allows them to be assertive about what they believe, what they eat, and how they survive. It's only for us who are Africans, who are so timid and so embarrassed, both in terms of our cultural expression, our educational background, our religious understanding, all these things. We must always be negotiating. First of all, before you talk, you must look to the left and to the right and find out what does the white man think, and what does the Indian think, and what would Britain say? What will America say? What will everybody say? But after everybody else has spoken, the question remains, what do you say about it yourself? So we are moving into an era right now that when the African child is developing, he is not only developing forward, we're also saying the African child must develop backwards. We need to understand that we need to water the roots. And yesterday I did a presentation at Kelvin where I said, you as a human being, you must understand three things: the tree, yes, the fruit, and the seed. And the tree, therefore, becomes your grandfather, where you're coming from. Understand the ground in which your history is grounded. After you understand that, the fruit will come forth from this tree. and then the seed inside. And what is in the tree is in the fruit, and it is in the seed. Now take care of the tree, and then you'll also see that you'll have the season of harvesting fruits. You need to go back to yourself and water your roots. You need to go back and look at yourself from your past. Water your past by understanding your ancestors, by understanding your history, by understanding your previous self. You begin actually to water the very essence of your being, and you can grow and harvest fruits from that. There's no other way I can share this with you. There's no person, there's no culture that is not proud of itself, that achieves anything that is worth recognizing. And we as Africans needed to start learning that we are what we are. We have something to offer, not only to ourselves, but to the world at large. And the only way of going back there is to learn how to water our roots. So I said it a few weeks ago that maybe for this Christmas, guys, let's stop buying white. Let's stop eating white. Let's stop dressing white. Let's stop flying white. Let's start doing it black, in a black way. Take your money, your hard-earned cash that you worked for the whole year. And I know Black Friday is coming. We were taking all this money that we worked for, and we are giving it back to the white people. Try and keep some of that money. Go home for Christmas, please. Go home for Christmas. Spend some money. Spend some time with your relatives and friends. Spend some time with your mothers and your grandmothers and your grandfathers. Go back home and clean your grandfather's graves. Do some nice little party for your family at home. There's no blessing much more than when you call a few relatives around your own family and they eat your money as an African child. And when the grandmothers are sitting under the tree and they're saying, "Hey, it was nice, man. May the Lord bless this young man." You see, this is how nice it is when we have our children working in Johannesburg. You see what they bring, those prayers, they will unlock the future that you're looking for. So stop thinking that by making money and you disappear into Mauritius, into Middelves, and you disappear into Durban, and you eat that money privately in harlotry, prostitution, and drunkenness, that you'll get any benefit from that. Try and take some of that hard-earned cash back to your village. Find your roots. I want to challenge you. Water your tree. Water your tree, and you can harvest some fruits. Preserve the seeds for another season. And to every man out there, don't waste your seed on unfertile ground. Find fertile ground and continue existence. The man who gives you an apple has given you food to eat, but he who gives you a seed has given you a forest. You can count the number of apples in a dish, but you can't count the number of trees that are in a seed. You can count the number of apples that are in a seed. You are a seed, full of potential, full of capacity, and nothing can limit you. The only thing that will make you grow is when you learn how to look after your tree. If you can look after your tree, you can have fruits. When you eat your fruits, preserve the seeds for another season. Until we meet again, Afternoon Drive, live with MAPONGA J. I'm running a small little program at Kelvin on Athol down in Senton. If you are closer in the Senton area, come and meet me there at about 6:30. I should be there, and I think in another week or two, I should be coming up to Zimbabwe, in Gweru, Zimbabwe. There's a program that I'll be running there in Gweru. So if you're within the greater Zimbabwe area, Harare, Bulawayo, everybody, I'll send the poster in a few days. All the roads are leading to Gweru. I'll be there for the entire weekend. I'm coming on a Friday, I'll be there on a Saturday, and I'll be there on a Sunday. So I suggest I'll do Gweru Friday and Saturday. If there anyone in Bulawayo would want to have some program done on Sunday morning before I fly out, maybe business breakfast or something, please inbox me and we can begin to put some arrangements in place. But yes, I'm coming to Zimbabwe. I think the 29th of November. I'll be leaving there on the 1st of December. 29, 30, 31, and I'll be coming back on the 1st of December. So if you are in the greater Zimbabwe, Gweru, Kwekwe, Masvingo, Harare, all the roads are leading to Gweru. It will be happening, bringing the gospel in the context of the African culture, making sense of the relevance of the African wealth and indigenous knowledge systems. And some few people have put a program together up in Gweru, and thumbs up, and we will be there, one and all, and we will bring the house down. And for this week, I'm in Kelvin on Athol. Google them. They're on Facebook also. You can be following them on Kelvin and Athol. It's a church out in Kelvin here where they've asked me to come and make some presentations of finding relevance in the 21st century. So if you're in the greater Johannesburg area, please make Kelvin your venue of choice for the next few days up to weekend. I'll be there until Saturday. Yeah, that's from me, MAPONGA J, your driver, on the afternoon drive live from Johannesburg on your African channel. We're discussing African medicines, African sciences, African fashion, music, and everything else between. Finding African solutions to African problems. And your book is ready, edited and dusted. We're just finalizing on the cover and a few typesettings. And I think before the end of the week, the cover will be out and the orders will be ready. I was challenged by young men to put all these teachings into a booklet so that they can assist me to publish the other 10 books that are still on standby in my archive. And so we'll be selling the books. I think we'll be printing about 5,000 units. If all of you can off-take them, then I'll take the money and plant it back into publishing the rest of the works that you have challenged me to do. So I'm not going to be with you for eternity, but while I'm still alive, let us maximize and utilize moments of time. But for today, water your tree and you'll harvest your fruits. Preserve your seeds for another season. Live with MAPONGA J. Good afternoon.